Okay, so I'll talk about storytelling. Make assets which are very short, like short videos and stuff like that, right? And then we also have assets like your presentation. We also have the asset like your case study, right? So multiple assets we are making for your portfolio because multiple leads can convert in different manners. If they scan the case study and come, that works one way. If they directly schedule a presentation with you, then you showcase a presentation and then you give them the case study as an additional read. That can be one thing. Or they're curious about some parts which are written in your case study and you present it directly from your case study as well. So anything can happen, right? Or the lead might even get interested in you because of that 10 seconds video which you have uploaded on your LinkedIn, showcasing the most important core feature of what you have done. So in any manner, the lead discussion can happen, right? But for all these things, what is very important is about storytelling, right? Storytelling is one of the most important skills, which not only is important when it comes to writing case studies, but it is also important as a UX designer themselves, right? Storytelling is like the base skill. They should always be able to think in terms like when you're empathizing, like journey itself is a story, right? If you're thinking in terms of creating a journey or understanding a journey of a customer or a user, that itself is a story. You're taking the point of view of a person and you're telling the story of what is happening to that particular person and therefore narrating their experience by giving their journey, right? Let's say you're presenting, I've asked you to present your UI, right? When I'm asking you to do that, all you have to do is tell stories, right? Tell a story in terms of what did you do, what is the impact that got created because of that particular thing which you have done, right? You have to build that story. So please understand, focus a lot on storytelling skills. And in fact, you can refer to a lot of material out there. There is amazing material out there on how to tell stories. You can also watch movies. You can watch movies by good directors to understand how good stories are told. That will inspire you about multiple storytelling techniques, how to grab the audience's attention. How do you make sure you build a good hook? You build a good problem, and then how do you get towards the resolution? How do you get to the highs? Or a few things like how is it that you will tell backstories? You establish a scene, right? You tell about something, but then you go backwards and tell a backstory, right? So you can also use linear techniques. You can obviously start narrating from the starting and then keep going forward. But what I'm trying to say is you don't have to necessarily stick to linear storytelling. You don't have to always think that people will understand stories the way you have worked on them. You worked on your project in a linear manner or in certain manner. You don't have to tell the story of your project in the same manner. It's not necessary because our human brain works in a very different manner, right? We can always process random things from random places and we can relate them towards the end, right? You need to utilize these techniques so that it grabs people's attention. You have to make them curious. You have to make them listen to you and make them get a high that, oh, wow, this is good, right? So to do that, you'll have to think very smart, right? That's why it's not necessary that you tell things in a very linear manner because then people hardly realize what are you even talking about. Okay. So keep this in your mind. Of course, this is your very beginning of your career. So I don't want you to stress too much on what is the perfect story and stuff like that. Be ready to experimentation. Because in the guidelines, I've given few popular ways of telling the stories as well, right? I'm recommending a very popular structure which generally works, right? Mind you, what I'm presenting here is not a template. It is not something which you will fill in to make a case study work. That's not how it works. This guideline is more like questions. What is an important decision you have taken? What are some of the use cases which you have built? These are more like questions which you're trying to answer and tell your story in your way. This is not a template. It's like here one card sorting diagram aega, like here three users ka personas aega. Like it's not a template, right? I'm not asking you to fill in information in a case study template. That's not what this is. In fact, templates don't work, right? But what I'm trying to say is because case study is a story by itself, basis these storytelling techniques, I'll ask you a bunch of questions. Basis the questions, you answer these questions, keeping these storytelling techniques in your mind. and therefore try and retain the attention of the person who is looking at your case study. Got it?